Here we are in Snowflake, Taylor today at our secret trails. I'm out here filming another course video because we have some course changes. I'm really excited about the changes we made. I think it's going to make for a really fun and challenging race course. So my goal today is to get in a good preview of the course, share with you a little bit about how I break down a course into different sections, provide a few key things to think about for different parts. Got a good long straightaway before our first section of trail. And the start of the course, the start section, I always like to keep in mind two main things. And that is keep your head on and keep your head up. So what that means, keep your head on, just be smart about it out there. You're not gonna win the race in the first minute or 5 minutes for that matter. So, you know, you don't want to give it everything you have in the first bit of the race. Mountain bike races are endurance races. That being said, the starts are fast, position is important, and that's where the second piece comes in, which is keep your head up. So that means you need to keep your attention forward. Really pay attention to everybody around you. Pay attention to what's ahead. And if you're able to do those two things, you'll find you have the ability to notice any gaps that might open that might allow you to move up. You might notice something on the trail or on the start chute that you might need to try to avoid. You might notice it's important to make sure you have more space. And I really consider the start of this race to include this first climb. And this is what I call our start climb. By the way, this is our course preview of the high school race. We have a separate video that will cover the middle school race. Part of keeping your attention or your head up is also noticing where there might be opportunities to pass out here. So I'm double checking to make sure I started my head unit. Good. Got the time rolling. So my goal for pacing as I preview this course is to keep a pretty sustainable pace, what I'll call moderate. So I'm definitely putting in some effort, but I want to make sure I can still talk to you all. Although I am breathing hard. And I also want to make sure I'm not burning too many matches out here, which is important, especially if you're pre-riding a course maybe the day before your race. You want to see what's out there, but you don't want to cook yourself. With that being said, I am going to do 2 good openers out here, and I'll let you know on what sections I'll do those on and what they'll look like. But this first climb is just about keeping that moderate pace going, keeping my head on and my head up. One thing I love about some of these climbs, they're broken up by these little descents. Each one of those sections gives you a little opportunity to rest. A little fun, rocky section. Keep in mind, one of the things that I love most about mountain biking and teaching skills, everything kind of builds upon some really basic things. So in our curriculum, we refer to our 3 common elements of all mountain bike skills. And I'm going to run through those really quick right now, because if you are kind of able to really practice those things and remind yourself of those 3 things, you're going to be able to come out to a course like this and ride it safely and even confidently. So even though this course is pretty technical relative to some of the others, we have certainly some challenging sections out here. Really, just practicing some of those 3 basic things will really give you the skills you need to ride this safely and confidently. All right, so those 3 things are, number 1, head up and eyes scanning ahead. May have already mentioned that at the start, but that's our number 1 common element of all mountain bike skills. Number 2, at least 1 finger on each brake. So if you've got that braking technique dialed, or it's something you can remind yourself of, you're going to be prepared to control your speed and adjust to different slopes of the trail. And the third thing is level pedals when not pedaling. And another way to think about this is heavy feet and light hands. And that position just reinforces your balance on the bike. And you all, that's the top of our start climb. And this is a section of, this is a really fun downhill. Well, this is another opportunity to take a little breather right here. is a really good one if you've got some beginner riders to stop and take a look at. That section also, it rolls really well. You just need to, keep heavy feet, light hands, and head up, eyes scanning ahead, and fingers on those brakes, and you're gonna be riding confidently through that. So from that downhill, we transition into this next section, which I'm calling our tandem climb, and you'll learn why soon enough. Gotta try to speak a little bit louder. It's getting windy out here. You all, I love this section. So the key thing to remember through here as we wind our way up this climb is to really just settle into a steady pace. Find a pace that you're going to be able to maintain and settle in. You also have really good view out here. So you can see what riders are ahead of you, which can be really motivating. You may also feel some pressure from riders behind you. That can sometimes be motivating too. I always challenge you to keep your attention ahead. It's also really important to be considerate of your fellow racers and make sure you're allowing those riders that are overtaking you to safely pass. And likewise, if you're overtaking riders, that you need to clearly announce yourself and let the rider know where you intend on passing, and then make a pass. But it's so important to communicate with each other out there. When someone's clearly making some forward progress, whether it's you or someone else that's quickly coming up from behind you, or maybe you're the one that's quickly moving on up through a group of riders, it's really just important to keep the communication open. Don't get frustrated. Everyone has a different comfort level with passing and experience level out there, so be mindful of that. When you get into those JV1 and varsity categories, riders are able to really quickly and efficiently execute passes without really impeding anyone much. And intentionally kind of blocking someone who's clearly making forward progress, it's not really very sportsmanlike. We all gotta help each other have the best races we can out there. And of course, when two people are really evenly matched and it's towards the end of a race, then it's really time to race. But there's still an etiquette to how you pass, and so you're really keeping everybody safe out there. All right, that's enough of my, hey look, you all, it's a tandem in a tree. That's why I call this climb the tandem climb. I'm also gonna grab a little drink here. Highly recommend everybody check out our feeling guides that we have published in our coach resources section of the website. There we go over some really simple and practical tips on keeping fueled out there while racing. We also have a great deal for teams to place orders with Hammer Nutrition. You get 45% off. It's pretty easy to make an order. And they make a ton of really great products. All right, now we're up on our ridge, and this is where I'm gonna start ramping up one of my efforts. And I'd already been riding at like a moderate pace up that climb, and now I'm just gonna slowly ramp the effort up until I'm really going too hard to talk the top of the climb. You guys, it's so beautiful out here. I love this course. The top. Keep in mind this is going to be the last section to execute a pass before the downhill. And such a fun downhill. So much fun. Right, well, I'm gonna slow way down here and point out this little rock right here. See if you see that one? That will help you pedal right up and over that. Even if you're coming at that with some speed, that little rock is going to be a big help. So keep descending. All right, keep in mind, I'm sure you're feeling a little recovered, energized after such a fun and awesome descent. Maybe you remember from the course from last year and think you're almost done. But I'm here to remind you that there's still some tough climbing ahead. And this is a good place to maximize the recovery, the little bit of recovery you have on this course. So try to keep that excitement tamped down just a little bit. And if you need to, because right here we take this left and we got some climbing ahead of us. This is the other section that it would be excellent to do an opener on. And I'm gonna climb most of this at a moderate pace again and then pick it up as I near the top. For whatever reason, I call this one the surprise climb or bonus climb, because it's you know, some bonus climbing that we didn't do last year. I don't know if you've noticed a few sections out here with some pretty soft dirt that's been recently raked. There's a couple sections of brand new trail. I just want to give a huge shout out to Rick and Brandon, who are our local trail builders. Those two have hand built all of these trails out here. They've poured hundreds of hours into this secret trail network, and just owe them a huge thank you. You may recognize them walking around the venue out here on race day. Those two will have the biggest smiles on their faces. They definitely enjoy seeing all the people and riders out here, you know, enjoying themselves on the trails that they built. So yeah, huge thank you to those guys. I also want to mention, for any of you that are doing the first ACA race and maybe you're watching this video and trying to get a feel for what it's like, know that there are no course markings out here today. I am simply following a little line on my head unit here, and on our race weekends we have phenomenal course markings. There are course marshals out here. There are parents cheering you on. We have all sorts of people out here. I mean, there's no way for you to get lost, take a wrong turn. And we have our chief course setter, Darren, to thank for all of his hard work setting up the course for each weekend. He and a team of volunteers. All right, so I was gonna do an effort and then I started chatting. We've got a couple downhills, but we do have some more climbing ahead. So I will open it up a bit on a couple of these climbs, get some openers in. way. Have some of my favorite climbing and descending still to come. And yes, I did say favorite climbing. Here we are. Oh man, wrong gear. That's a little section right there to keep an eye on. Was not in the right gear for that. Muscled through it. But if you can keep your speed through that section where I got bogged down, makes it a lot more fun. Really good flow out here. There's a section has been worked on recently. In case anyone's wondering, I'm riding my Pivot Mach 4 SL out here. Such a great bike for terrain like this. Course is pretty rocky, but there aren't too many square edges, and I like to run kind of as low a tire pressure as I can get away with. Any of you train at South Mountain in the Phoenix area, or maybe if you're up in Prescott, ride around like the Ranch Trail, or I'm just trying to think of, or if you're Phoenix Mountain Preserve, Star Pass in Tucson. If you ride any of those areas, you're going to be really well equipped for this terrain out here. Y'all, I promise this is the last climb, and this is where you're gonna want to make it count. Keep in mind I did my opener, so I'm gonna keep a moderate pace up here for my pre-ride. If you're racing and this is your last lap, this is where you're gonna be digging pretty deep. It's also a fairly rocky climb. almost at the top. All right. Downhill from here to this finish. Parents and coaches, this course has some great spectating opportunities. So see a lot of what we just rode from the venue, or it's just a really short hike up here if you want to go and cheer your riders on. Well, this is a newly cut trail right here. It'll get more ridden in, but here we are, right out onto the finishing stretch. It's a sprint from here to the finish. Nice work, everyone. That's a wrap for the lap. Really quick, gonna run through the different sections of the course. Keep in mind for the start, it's really important to keep your head on, to keep your head up. Remember, the start includes that start climb. It's going to be key to settle into position, look for opportunities to move up, make sure you're working with other riders too if they're overtaking you. From there, we have a little short downhill, super fun, into our tandem climb. Tandem climb is all about just finding a steady pace. It's a good place to kind of have some, you can try to, chase down a rider up ahead of you. But yeah, just settle into a pace. And as you get up onto that ridge, once you're up on that ridge, you just have a bit of climbing left before that super fun downhill. So make that last bit on the ridge count. You can dig deep because you do have a chance to recover. And then you dive into that last, not the last, but the super fun downhill. One of the greatest sections of trail just about anywhere. So you can fly through there. Don't overdo it. Keep your head on still. Don't get too excited. You want to recover through there because you've got some climbing at the end. From there, you've got your bonus climb, which is pretty tough. And there's little bits of recovery, but there's definitely some climbing at the end. And so just remember that last climbing is where you're going to be putting in your hardest efforts of the day. So nice work, everyone. You're going to be ready for this course, and I'm just excited for everyone because I think it's super fun out here. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.